Well, thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. First, I just want to ask how you're doing. These have been, difficult and surprising, past 5 months, with the nation and going through so much. And then even in our community, how has your spirit been or how have you been feeling?
Well, you're devastated, hopeful, enraged, fueled that we have to change this, that we can't tolerate this, because all of it, I mean, I don't even think that most people in America that we ever thought we would recognize, 56 million, I mean, like people, all these people unemployed, so much going on, so many young Black people being killed in the streets, and hopeful when you see so many diverse humans out there saying, no, we won't tolerate this, it has to be changed. Seeing the protests and people marching in the streets, that makes me hopeful. Yeah. But I just pray that all the numbers that have marched will vote. Yeah. And we've got to change the narrative. I mean, it's in a way, it's the first time that we in America have been limited, like this kind of limited, where, quarantining and also that we've been at a point where everybody else's well-being is dependent. Everybody's well-being is dependent upon each other making good choices.
Yeah. And it's not going
and it's not going well. And so it always made me, it kind of makes me realize how indulgent we are as Americans, that their whole like swaths of communities of all stripes, all colors, all age groups who have just said, okay, I'm tired of this and I'm just going to go and do what I want to do. I mean, people having COVID parties and people having pool parties and, wanting to pull guns at Walmart because they don't want to wear a mask.
Right.
Like, how is that impinging upon your personal freedoms when, if you're a smoker, you can't smoke in a restaurant anymore.
Right.
You could do that. For one group to be talking about personal freedoms, yet there are rules about what kind of physical displays of affection or sensuality you can have in public. Yet, you're limited by a mask. They don't let you take off on a plane if you haven't turned your phone off and put your seatbelt on. I mean, you won't take off. I mean, the pilot has the right to put you off the plane, but you want these droplets all spreading out all over the place.
Exactly.
We don't know it just doesn't make any sense that our health has been politicized, right?
Yeah.
So it is, I don't know if that's really what you wanted to talk about. It's
how you
frustrating.
Feel. Absolutely.
Because you're a journalist.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a plane since March 5th.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody's bad choices, I'm being affected by other people's choices from the very top.
Exactly.
And it's a little bit frustrating, but it says that, we have to change things.
Yeah, for sure. And then in the midst of all this, Greenleaf is coming, and it's here, and it's the last season. How does that feel for you after 5 seasons of the show?
I don't know. I feel kind of rewarded. I feel kind of blessed. I feel gratitude that we were able to tell what I think is such a strong story that resonated with so many people. Yeah, so it's I have, for the most part, a good feeling. Of course, it's sad because you build a family and camaraderie with everyone. But we shot our last episode a while ago.
Okay.
I think last August is.
Okay.
Yes. So, and fortunately for the cast, we knew when we started the 5th season that it was the last season.
Okay.
And I think it speaks to, what a tight-knit family we are, that we never said anything.
Yeah.
It never leaked out. Yeah, we knew from the time the camera rolled on the 5th season, which also gave me personally as an artist a chance to really have a strong wrap-up, right?
Yeah.
And make sure, it's like when you're putting, a family member on a plane, you're like, you have everything you need.
Right.
You got what you need. Okay, you're going to be gone for a while. So let's get you all together and let's make sure that everything has been taken care of. And so I was able to sort of tuck Lady May away with a lot of care. Because many times, people leave a show thinking that they have another season. Absolutely. And they don't get a pickup. So they never have the blessing to be able to, finish it off in a way they'd like. But we got to do that. So I feel very rewarded and grateful.
Oh, good. So I was at the initial screening in New York in 2016. You and all the cast were there.
Oh, at the Tribeca Film and Television Festival?
Yes.
That was exciting,
That
right?
was so good. Yeah, and there was, all this conversation around, like, excitement, like you said, about this show that centers the Black church. And then also, like, being mindful of sensitivities and, how people would feel. And the executive producer, Craig Wright, was saying, the church is this massive, important institution, but does that mean it can't be critiqued? And he answered his own question, like, no, it just has to be done with respect. So do you feel the series did that? And did you at any point ever have any hesitation about, joining or any of the storylines or anything like
that? Actually, no. One of the reasons I wanted to do the series was because I thought that people's perceptions of religion and church leadership, well, any leadership for that matter, needed to be looked at. I thought that it would be empowering for us to humanize church leadership and, just let people know, they're only people. They have problems. They have character flaws. They make mistakes. So they're nobody that we need to be bowing down to and genuflecting to, a priest, a pastor, or a bishop, or a first lady. I mean, they're just the humans that God's using to, save souls. And so I wanted to talk about that. So I think we did well, and I wasn't really afraid of any of the storylines. Okay. There was one time that I was nervous. Okay. And I was really nervous when Lady May and Bishop, he had served her with the divorce papers or something, or that Rochelle Cross was in there, and they had me storm into the office and, dress him up and down and say, I'm going to stay here and do this, and we're going to take care of that and do that. But after we've done all that, I'm divorcing your black ass. And I was like, I don't think that's good for Lady May to say that on camera. That's kind of harsh. And they were like, no, say it. So I did it. And I said, okay, we're going to do this. And after that, I'm divorcing your black ass. And then Clement Virgo came up and said, now you don't sound like that's what you're going to do. I need him to understand. You need to make it very clear, and you need to do it with all the passion that is Lady May's. So I went back, and for the last take, and they were right up in my grill. And I said, after we do all of that, I'm divorcing your black ass. And the cast and crew gave me a standing ovation, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what? But I was afraid of the racial nature of that. Mm-hmm. I was afraid of, I mean, even though that's something that we would say behind closed doors,
yeah,
that was one of the few moments of all the things that Lady Mae did that I was afraid that it would be just too harsh.
Yeah.
For you know, but Twitter went crazy.
I know it did.
Went absolutely great. You better tell him, Lady, you go. Only Lady Mae can say that. Oh, exactly. Yes, Bishop. You didn't know there was a bunch of wagon. Like, Bishop, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That Rochelle Cross. So,
you're like,
both Clement and Craig were right. I mean, not to be afraid. It was one of the few times I kind of was walking on eggshells.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's funny because you said, you know, the dress you down. Because, I'm like, the way you read people is, or your character. But, man, it's times with, like, Grace and Carissa, I'll be at home like, wait a minute.
What's got you laughing now?
Just thinking about it. And, you know, people, you know, you're like, is that her in real life? Or where did she go to get that?
But you know what? The thing is that I think the reason why people like all that stuff is because they know people like that.
Exactly. Absolutely.
They know that is clearly a Black woman, Southern woman, earthy woman, queen woman who's not gonna let anybody come and say. They know these women, you know, and they know Lady Mae. So I think that's why it resonates with them so much, because we haven't seen a lot of, you know, mature women on camera, on television, just kind of tell it like it is, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And so speaking of Twitter, you know, last week Emmy nominations came out and people were talking about snubs. I saw your name mentioned more than a few times, which I'm
You did not.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I'm inclined to agree because I do think I love Lady Mae. Like, I watched the show.
Send me every one of those tweets, darling. I'm going to make a poster as big as this painting.
Did you?
I don't know anybody said anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you didn't feel
thank you, everybody, for thinking that my work was, you know, of a caliber that it should at least be considered.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You know, I'm not going to tell. So actually, the Television Academy last week posted, for some reason, I guess, I don't know why. I'm going to keep it. But they posted my acceptance speech from when I did win the Emmy.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that is no consolation prize. Thank you for reminding everybody that I was the second Black woman to win in that category 20 years after Cicely Tyson for, you know, Best Actress in a, Best Actress in a special. Yeah. In a television series, right? Yeah. And I mean, Glenn Close was nominated. I mean, it was like a really incredible category. Yeah. So yeah, I thank any you know, people who love our show, who even mentioned my name for to be considered for. Yeah. So, and speaking of that, you know, you talked about being a mature woman, you know, on the show. And, you know, a lot of women say, you know, they get to a certain age and they feel discarded, you know, by Hollywood in some ways. Have you had that experience, or how do you feel, you know, to still be working, you know, at your age? Did you ever question if you would be? Well, here's my thing. I love storytelling. And I really try to do my very best in any challenge that I've given. And if it's oversimplified and not that interesting, I try to bring more of it to the table. But funnily enough, we're going to have a girlfriend's check-in on OWN.
Okay, yeah.
This Saturday.
Okay.
Beverly Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
With all of her stories. Vanessa Bell Calloway.
Ooh.
And Miss Tina Knowles Lawson.
Okay.
And it's really interesting because we talk about a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, and I don't think it's big-headedness or anything or ego, but I still think that I am open enough and hardworking enough and creative enough that I can't imagine being discarded.
Okay.
You know, I might not get some of the jobs that I want or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stories that I would like to tell, but I never think that I'm going to be discarded. I think that they're going to try to put me into this little safe cocoon of what they think women of a certain age should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of just try to defy that whole thing.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
and keep presenting other facets from other angles through different prisms.
Yeah.
Women who are more mature than others. And I quite honestly do my best to give these young girls a run for their money in the roles that are appropriate for me, right?
Yes.
In other words, I'm not thinking I should be in an ingenue's part or any of that.
Yeah.
But the roles that I'm given, that I'm offered, or that I win, well, however it works,
Mm-hmm.
I am always trying to stay connected as a woman. I'm always trying to, you know, keep everything full and whole, and not all, you know, shriveled up, dried up, thrown away. Like I don't matter. I don't like nobody don't want me.
Exactly.
Even if I don't want them, you still want people who want you. And
Yes.
so I just really try to be authentic and appealing,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and fresh, because the truth is fresh. The truth is never not fresh.
Yes.
It's always fresh to tell the truth in your work, you know,
Yes.
and it can always grab somebody. So, you know, and thus far, you know, oh, well, there's that, yeah, knock on wood. Thus far, it's been, you know, it works out well, you know.
Yeah.
People still seem to say, I mean, some of the things that people write on my direct messaging, it's like, shame on you, little boy.
So they sliding your DMs.
No, my daughter will get so, she said, Mom, he just said, well, Lynn Whitfield may be,
Uh-huh.
but I would still hit that. It's like, what are you saying? Oh my God. But my daughter will read all these things to me. So I'm like, okay, well, at least, you know, it's not like, let me help that lady up the stairs.
Right, exactly. That's a good problem to have. That's funny because I was going to ask you, you know, we were talking about when we spoke a couple years ago, you know, you were saying, look, I'm here, make me an offer I can't refuse. You know, did anybody take you up on that offer, or are you still?
I think they're scared. Well, no.
Okay.
You know, they've been, you know, dating is nice sometimes if it's interesting.
Uh-huh.
But now, honey, COVID-19 is like, I am fine right here.
Right.
I'm just fine.
Right.
And, you know, you do, I guess, as you, you know, mature, as you it's just, you know, it needs to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go through all of can it really just be interesting and true fun, you know? Because at this point, that's what I would like, you know, companionship and a lot of fun, a lot of laughter and everything.
Yes, yes. So, in addition to Madame Noir, so I have a site called Be.Enough that really just talks about, feeling like you're enough is a never-ending journey, and we tend to question, at different times if we are enough. And I always ask people if they can remember a time, they were made to feel, not pretty enough or not smart enough or whatever, and how they kind of work through that and just daily practice of just feeling, enough as you are.
Oh, but that's the thing. That's not a matter of I don't know if that all ever goes away. Mm-hmm. There's so much in our world that says we're not enough,
Yeah.
A failed relationship can say you're not enough. Looking at a magazine can say you're not enough. Looking at your age say you're not enough. Looking at other beautiful women who enter a room, or men, or in the workplace. So it is a constant, everyday practice of in our best selves, and when we're really moving towards the light of who we are, not listening to the voices that weigh us down and take us to a dark place. It's first of all being grateful. Gratitude is so important. So to get to gratitude, you have to say what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that, I feel good. I'm grateful that my 89 mother is alive. I'm grateful that I've had a 30 or 40-year career, whatever. I'm grateful that I have my daughter with me. And as you count the blessings, already, and stand in gratitude, already I start to feel better. And then, everyone deserves to have a purpose and fulfill a purpose. So if you're focused on, this is what, it may not be the overall big looming purpose. It may be, this is what I need to fulfill today.
Yeah.
Or this is how I want to fulfill the purpose of my life. And every day is like a little bit. Like now, I'm like, okay, I can't go anywhere and just go action cut. I wonder Tyler got a role for me right there. There's nowhere to go work. What am I going to do? Act on my iPad? I mean, Jesus, what's happening? Okay, so I've got to figure out, first of all, yes, people are still interested in who you are. And how am I, Lynn Whitfield, and how am I, my maiden name, Little Lynn Smith, how am I going to find my path towards relevancy in this time, right?
Yeah.
Because I deserve to be in this time. I deserve to be. So it's always the processing of those things and filling this places in yourself that are having negative little voices with positive affirmation of who you are.
Yeah.
In gratitude and faith, knowing that everything's going to work out. So it's just constant, and it's not always easy, and it's a lot of little steps. It's no one little easy fix to that.
Yeah.
Going to church on Sunday and then thinking you'll get through all 7 days, or having you're talking to your psychologist or whatever, feeling great when you leave, you're always going to encounter something. So it's the consistency of what the thoughts that we feed ourselves, the information, the spiritual connection that we keep. So it's hard work. I mean, I don't think there's ever any easy answer. If anybody ever gives like a really easy, simple answer to wading through all the minutia of the world, I don't usually believe those sweeping, hyperbolic, well, if you do this, then that will happen.
Right.
Please, honey, because I know sometimes you get up and you look at the mirror and you're like, I think I don't look so, I'm not pretty. I'm not, those voices are there.
Yeah.
We're on this earth to get through the darkness to the light. That's just, I don't know. They say it was Eve's fault, but I'm not going to blame the woman. I'm going to blame the snake.